Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of RedHawks Weekly. Eric Peterson is stuck in an airport somewhere, so we bring in the chief, Josh Buchholz, the general manager of the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks, as they wrap up a road trip against Kansas City over the weekend. Back home this week, great chance to check out the ball club here at Newman Outdoor Field, and they're playing pretty well. Probably the best they have all season. You take 2 of 3 against Kansas City, you come home, it just seems like you guys want to just keep this thing rolling and finish out strong with about a quarter of the season left.
Oh, without a doubt. Obviously, the first 70 games or so haven't gone quite how we envisioned it, and kind of really not up to our expectations with the RedHawks. But like you said, the key is to finish strong, find some guys, start looking for next year and see what kind of guys we have and who wants to come back and be a part of this rebuild. We were hoping it would be a 1-year rebuild. It looks like it's going to be a 2-year rebuld, but we plan on getting it right and getting back to the top of the standings where we feel like we're accustomed to being.
Yeah. How much can a series like you had against Kansas City, now you've won 2 in a row, how much can that help once you get back home?
Well, I think it'll help a great deal. I think, we won 2 in a row coming off an 8-game losing streak. We faced St. Paul and Sioux City, who are obviously 2 of the top teams in the league this year, and didn't fare so well against them. Had some close games, but those are still losses, the guys rebounded, lost the first game, a tough one in Kansas City, and then came back and got the bats going in game 2, and then last night, on Monday night, an extra inning victory, a little bit of international flavor with the international rule coming into play in the 11th inning, but 2 victories coming home and a short little 3-game homestand where hopefully we can make some hay against Gary. One
of the players that RedHawks fans will be happy to see back, haven't seen him in, I think, since June 28th, Charlie Valerio, back with the RedHawks, and boy, he started off okay. He had 2 home runs on this road swing.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. He's a player. He loves playing baseball, and he worked very, very hard to get back. We were told it was a 3 to 4 week deal, and he was just a little bit over 4 weeks. We had the All-Star break luxury there to have an extra 3 days of rest for him before we activated him, and he's come in and started off DHing. He caught a couple games on the road trip and has shown really no ill effects from his injury. It was a pretty nasty hand injury. He had hurt a tendon in his middle finger on his catching hand, and has been able to get behind the plate, and it should be all systems go now for him. It'll
be fun to see him, and he has a personality. He had some fire in him early in the season. I remember this is a guy that he seems like a Doug Simonic kind of player.
Oh, without a doubt, he's very fiery, very emotional. Like I said, he loves to play baseball, and to have him out on the field, and he's played a long time. He's 8 years in professional baseball and AA level type guy. He knows how to play the game. He's a very solidifying force at catcher and in our offensive lineup. He's got some flexibility where he can DH, he can play first, he can play third. And with the addition of Luke Bailey, it really gives us 2 high quality backstops to handle our pitching staff, and we're able to move Charlie around the field a little bit and take some pressure off that hand, and so he's not taking that day-to-day beating.
It'd be great to see Charlie back in the lineup Tuesday through Thursday. The team is taking on the Gary South Shore Railcats at Newman Outdoor Field. Well, let's talk a little bit about the season. We touched on it a little bit. The record, obviously, 25-48, not something that you guys envisioned. But this is a season where, you just haven't figured things out. It's almost like you haven't put both things together. It's either you get good pitching and then the hitting suffers, or vice versa.
Yeah, our biggest problem all year long has been defense. We haven't been able to find a third baseman. Hopefully we found one now. We've got Michael Wing, who we activated. We claimed him off waivers from Sioux Falls a few weeks ago. He was battling through an injury as well, so we were able to activate him at the end of the Sioux City series. But I think we have something like 45 errors at third base this year, and that is just you're not going to win. You're just not. It's not going to happen. That's just too many, and we've had games where we've had 4 and 5 errors. That makes pitchers throw more pitches. It puts more pressure on your offense because you're giving up free outs, free runs, and the pitching staff has done a good job. We haven't scored. That's been another problem. We missed on a few offensive guys at the beginning of the year, and there just weren't quality replacements out there. It's been tough to find new players. We feel like now, finally, here with 27 games left, we have a lineup out on the field. It's all professional guys. We don't have a lot of rookies out on the field, And we feel like this lineup that we have is our strongest all year, and hopefully we can start producing some more runs like we did on Sunday night.
With that being said, is this a big evaluation period for you guys?
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. There's certainly some players that we'll want to have back next year, and we want those guys to finish out strong. I'll give the guys credit. One thing, they are playing hard. I mean, I went down to Sioux City and watched a couple games, and we were in games with the Explorers. Like I said, obviously one of the top 2 teams in the league. They've won 13 games in a row now. The guys are giving it everything they've got. They really are. It's a good group of players. Like I said, we feel like we've got a pretty solid core built right now, and now it's just a matter of using his last, I think it's 27 games that we have left to win as many as we can, and leave with a good taste in our mouth at the end of the year, and get into that rebuild again. How
do you take it when one of your guys, Steve Montgomery, goes and takes over a new club, and he's had the success that he's had, and I'm sure you ran into him down there. What kind of conversations do you have with him on how he's able to build that team up so quickly?
Well, we haven't had a lot of conversations about that. It's more congratulating him. He's done a nice job. He basically rebuilt his team last year, and they finished, I think, just under 500 last season. I think he only had 3 guys back from the previous team. So he's doing a little bit about what, seeing a little bit of what we saw. We're seeing this year, he had last year, where, you're filling a whole roster out, and the environment isn't like it was 6-7 years ago, where there's just players hanging on every street corner. It's tougher now. And he's gotten very good production from guys that have come back for him who had good years, but not great years last year, and now this year they're having great years. John Straka from NDSU is one of them. He kind of found his footing in the league last year and had good outings, but he'd have bad outings. And this year he's been one of the most dominant guys in the American Association. And he's got a third baseman, Tommy Mendoza, who was good but not great last year. He battled some injuries. This year he's in the top 10 in hitting. He's added a couple pieces where a shortstop in Noah Perio, who wasn't really highly regarded by a lot of teams, but Mongo's turned him into a very good shortstop, and he's done a good job. He's built a very solid bullpen. He's got a great starting rotation, and they hit enough, and they've got good team speed. So you add all those things in, and Mongo knows how to run a game. So he learned a lot in 13 years here, 3 as a player and 10 as a coach, and he's taken a lot of that with him to Sioux City, and they're having success, and it's good for him. He's proven that he was ready to become a manager and take that next step in his career. Obviously, there wasn't a manager's job open here, and he took the job that he could get, and he's doing a very nice job with it.
Well, that series is a big one this week. Let's take a look at the standings. The St. Paul Saints are going up against Mongo's Sioux City Explorers. The St. Paul Saints 58-16. They're on a 10-game winning streak. As you mentioned, Sioux City on a 13-game win streak. Something has to give in that series. But also wanted to know, St. Paul right now has a 784 winning percentage, and the team that holds the highest winning percentage in independent baseball history is the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks back in 1998, a 753 win percentage when you guys finished 64-21. Obviously a shorter season than you have now, but are you worried about that?
I don't know if we're worried about it. They always say all records are made to be broken. It's that was really a special team. That was our 3rd year in the league and as a franchise, and had that good core, the Johnny Knotts, the Chris Coast, the Chad Akers, Darryl Motley, and Jeff Bitter was 12-1 on the mound. We had Blaze Ilsley, former major leaguer, in the rotation, and that group was a lot of fun to watch. They went, I think they won 11 or lost 11 games in the first half and 10 games in the second half, and they actually Winnipeg. Kind of one of those Sioux City, St. Paul like this year, stayed with us the whole second half, and we ended up tying for the second half title. They were both 33-10 in the second half in the same division. We met in the playoffs, and we were able to get by them in the first round of the playoffs. But the winning percentage thing is pretty cool. It was a great mark, a great team, and Wichita crept right up on it last year. They were 73-27, so 73% winning percentage, and if it happens, it happens. St. Paul and Sioux City play 6 times here down the stretch, so we'll see. We'll kind of see what happens with those guys. It's not easy. St. Paul's magic number is at 2. right now.
Yeah.
You know, going into tonight's game. So we're sitting here on August 11th, and their magic number's already 2. That's impressive. You know, we've had some impressive times. We had in 05, the second half of the season, we were 40-7. We were 27-1 in the month of July, or month of August, excuse me. A 13-game winning streak, an extra inning loss, and a 14-game winning streak. So,
wow.
You know, we've had our share of pretty good years. You know, our record of 60-win seasons is also unmatched in independent baseball history, and so we've got some things to be proud of, but we also have some things to shoot for. We know what we need to get back to, and to get back to the level of play that we're accustomed to as an organization, that our fans are accustomed to, and like to come out and watch.
Well, hopefully we see a big step toward that this week and the rest of the season. About a month left of the season for the F-M RedHawks, so get out there, get out to Newman Outdoor Field. Should be a beautiful week for baseball. For Josh Buchholz, I'm Jody Norstedt. We'll see you next time on RedHawks Weekly.